Welcome into another bonus episode here of Hockey Inside Out. And this week's question, Michael Pezzetta, does he have a future with the Montreal Canadiens? You look at the month of December so far, 7 games played, 1 goal, -2 in this month of December.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he has a future with the Montreal Canadiens just based on what they're trying to build. What I will say is I think he has a future in the NHL. He's played especially well with all the injuries here. Showing that he can play on the penalty kill, I think, gives Michael Pezzetta a lot more value than we've seen in recent seasons where he was kind of like a 5-minute-a-night kind of guy. He's the type of guy who will, score off of his own face if he has to. So that endears him to many, many general managers around the league. I think the biggest thing that I would say about Michael Pezzetta is that he has created himself trade value when the Canadiens are looking to start offloading some contracts this coming trade deadline. I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up on a playoff team, a team that needs some depth, needs some grit, that many people maybe perceive as soft, a team like the Edmonton Oilers or maybe the New Jersey Devils.
He might, is the best way I can answer it. Michel Therrien used to have a great line. He used to say, there's different chairs on a team, and you need to find out which chair you fit in. And he's a perfect example of that. He fits in as a fourth-line winger who can go out there. He's going to work his butt off every time he's on the ice. He's going to give you everything he has. He's not the most skilled player in the world. He's really well-liked by his teammates. He's part of the young crew they have here with Jordan Harris and Goulet and Slafkovsky and these guys. When they go out for dinner on the road, Pezzetta's part of that group. He's loved by his teammates. The game against Calgary, he drops the gloves, fights the guy. So now Jack Guy doesn't have to worry about that, right? I mean, Marty St. Louis talked about with Jack Guy. He had to talk to him about the season. You're not on this team to fight. We want you to be a hockey player. We want you to play. We want you to be mean. We want you to be tough. If the circumstance arises and you need to drop the gloves, fine. But that they don't want him focusing on that. So here's a game against Calgary. The young guy at Calgary looking to prove himself in the NHL, wants to drop the gloves to somebody. Pezzetta steps in and fills that role. I mean, fighting is a very small part of the game right now, but toughness will always be part of the game. And he's a tough guy. He's not fun to play against. He finishes all his checks. As I said, he fits a chair as a fourth liner, making the NHL minimum. Doesn't complain. He was a healthy scratch for a long time earlier this season. Never bitched, never whined, never complained. Happy to be getting an NHL contract. Good in the room, liked by the guys. So he definitely fits a chair as a fourth liner. As Andrew, as you said, if it's not with the Canadiens, probably with another NHL team. There's not a lot of guys like him left in the NHL. The so-called tough guy who can still skate well enough to keep up with the pace of play in today's NHL and not hurt you. Like, it's not like, okay, he's on the ice, they're definitely going to score against him type of thing. He's an honest, hard-working hockey player, knows what his limitations are, and gives you 100% effort every time he's on the ice and fills that toughness role that there's not a lot of guys in today's NHL, not a lot of guys capable of doing that in today's NHL.
I mean, I like Michael Pezzetta. He knows his role. He does it very well. Knows when to go, when not to go. Unfortunately, I think his type of that type of player is becoming less and less noticeable or part of teams. I think that moving forward, I think that the Montreal Canadiens would probably like to fill that spot with somebody with a little more skill, somebody that can bring, whether it's, on the fourth line, bring a good offensive talent to the lineup. And, if you look at some of the guys in Laval, Pinard and the other one there, Richard, I mean, these kind of guys, are making things happen offensively. In the future, are these ones that maybe they would like to have a look at to put into that position that are going to bring a little bit more, skill-wise to their lineup. So not to knock Michael Pezzetta. Like I said, I like him. He's an honest, good kid. But I think, moving forward, his time is going to become expendable.
He's a unicorn skill set here. Look, he's not getting Sean Monahan value, maybe your first round pick, but can they get decent value if they do offload him at the deadline in February, guys?
I don't think there's a huge value to him, but as Rick said, that player is not. There's a value. There's less guys like him in the NHL, so there's more of a value to him, I think. So if they were to move him, I mean, it's definitely not going to be a first round pick or a second round pick. I don't know what they'd be able to get for him, but then you weigh the options. Are we better taking that, or are we better keeping the guy? So it would be interesting to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, if you set your expectations to be like a high-end draft pick, it's not going to be what you will get, right? But in terms of can they get back a pick that you can get somebody around the talent level of Michael Pezzetta or better? Yeah. If they can get a 22-23 like third round pick, I think like that would be a very decent trade for the Montreal Canadiens. They also don't have to trade him. You know, he will eventually be passed by other younger players, like Rick said, but they're not in a situation where they have to get crazy value from Michael Pezzetta. It's just an option that's there for them.
He's also the type of guy you could package him with someone else as a trade, as a sweetener
for sure.
A team going to the playoffs. You know, the team maybe wants a Sean Monahan, as we've spoken about previously, and maybe they need to add a little toughness too. Well, here you have your veteran center, and we're going to add a little toughness too by throwing Mike Pezzetta into the package and maybe get a little bit more back.
And if you look at their depth chart, which they do, and figure out, you know, is he the kind of guy that they'd like to have versus somebody else that maybe is ahead of them that's going to bring a little bit more. So I don't think he's as much as he's an honest player, I don't think he's going to draw a lot of attention. But you know, he doesn't hurt you from the standpoint you can put him in, you can put him out of the lineup. He gives you the luxury of having some depth, but moving the process forward, I'm not sure if he is going to be able to do it long term.
I mean, I don't know how much of
he could be a unicorn sweetener for the Montreal Canadiens.
I don't know how much of a say Marc Bergevin has in his new role with the Kings. But Michael Pezzetta is the kind of player Marc Bergevin loved to acquire at trade deadlines when he was a GM.
Well, he could still become a unicorn sweetener, right? I mean, you never know. I mean, there might be a team.
He's as you say, a throw-in, not a throw-in, but an addition to a trade to maybe make it.
Look at Tampa, right? Tampa is notorious for bringing on these type of edgy players, if you want to use that term for Pezzetta, for a cup run. So there might be a team that could be desperate to acquire him if they feel that he can be the correct value of what they're looking for their cup run going towards the spring months of the playoffs. Well, that'll do it for this bonus episode here of Hockey Inside Out. Don't forget to send us your questions and comments here. We look forward to conversing about that on a future episode. And also like and subscribe on our YouTube page for Hockey Inside Out. And sign up for the MontrealGazette.com/newsletters for all the latest news on Hockey Inside Out. And for full episodes and bonus content, head on by Hockey Inside Out. On behalf of Andrew, Stu, and Rick, wish you a great week. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.